Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wolf Laugh Complains about random shit nobody asked for. But this time, it's going to be extremely controversial, just like all the other times. But still, some of these opinions could get me canceled based on the way I phrase them, because we're talking today about music genres, and my problem with every single one of them is all of them, except for like 3, are really bad. We're talking about the major ones. You know, without further ado, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into one of my least favorite genres off the bat, and the one that's most likely to get me canceled if I have a not okay opinion about it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with rap, which in my opinion is the 3rd worst genre right now. Now, my main problem with rap is that it's really, really boring, and its fans worship it like it's actually good. You want to know what rap is? It's talking. It's just fucking talking. Oh, you don't understand rap. You don't understand. No. I do. And most of the most famous rap artists don't make their own music, so it's just talking. A lot of the obscure guys are actually significantly more musically talented than the top dogs, simply because they make their own beats. And you know, the top dogs used to make their own beats or something, but right now they're not musicians, they're just talkers. But Ben Shapiro talks faster than all of them as well, which is kind of funny. But they don't sing, they're not doing anything actually musically except for rhythmically speaking. Red Hot Chili Peppers has rhythmic speaking, and Red Hot Chili Peppers is significantly better, even though Red Hot Chili Peppers vocals still fucking suck. So I don't wrap my head around why people think that like rap is legitimately interesting. I guess it's because like the lifestyle around it is mildly interesting, and I'd agree with that. And early rap used to be something where it'd be a lot of jazz style piano and horns and trumpets, and drums, like actual drums, not synthetic ones, that were put over spoken word vocals, and that was interesting. That was something new, that was something experimental, and there'd be a sung chorus a lot of the time. Now it's just talk, 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 rhythm, boom, rap song. And it's a lot of samples as well, so you're not actually creating anything new. If you're a rap producer, at least you're doing better than the actual rappers, because you're doing something musically up there. Do you know what? I could do this in 10 minutes, and I'm not a good producer. It's not that hard to make a backing beat for rap. It's such an overrated genre. And you know, nothing wrong with people who enjoy rap. I just wondered, do you actually like listening to music, or do you like listening to podcasts that have music backing them? Because that's what rap essentially is. It's 3-minute podcasts, not even 3 minutes now. You have like one of your own verses, you invite someone else on to be on the second verse, and then maybe you get a third verse. Or maybe it's a really dog shit chorus that people are like, oh my god, this is the next great thing. This is amazing. This genre definitely didn't peak in the 90s and early 2000s, back when we actually had singing involved, and when we actually had interesting lyrics, and I feel like it's all been done by this point. You can only speak words so many times before the words become boring and meaningless. Literally one of the biggest rap songs was a guy saying fiend. I guess it gets people hyped, sure. It's just kind of fucking stupid at the end of the day. Anyone saying, oh, you're a fucking nerd for saying... And? My point's still there. What, as music, not as like, let's say, as like a hype machine. Sure, it works for hype. A lot of rap does that really well. Good job. But as actual music, what does it do? Nothing. Because on most of the big rap songs now, you're not even playing real instruments. You're doing synthetic stuff on a DAW. I hate this. I hate this genre so much. Again, it used to be good. It was really good when it was combined into nu metal, when there was actually really interesting musical ideas going on. Early rap as well. Jay-Z. You know, Kanye was a great producer for a while. Now he's kind of a fucking idiot. But a lot of this new stuff is just someone else making a song for you and you saying words over. I mean, like, it's so dumb. Anyways, on to the next genre. The next genre is pop. Oh boy, this is the worst genre right now. It is absolutely awful. There is nothing to like about what pop is doing right now. Rap at least has something where it is easy to get into it if you are homegrown. That's something nice that I admire rap for. You don't have to be you can make it, you can be self-made as a rapper. You can't do that in pop. A lot of pop songs right now are all the same, first of all. They have the same problem as a rap, is that actually there's no musicality at all going on from a lot of the artists. And if it is, it's really basic stuff. Like, I could play every Taylor Swift song if I learned 3 chords on guitar. And a lot of pop artists don't actually know how to play their instruments. And if they do, they don't play them very well. Taylor Swift got ranked as one of the best guitarists, I think, of all time or currently alive. No, she's not. She's not very good in the first place at singing. Another issue with pop is that, speaking of singing, they use a lot of auto-tune. Rap uses auto-tune too, but at least those guys say they can't sing. So it's a little more forgivable. Pop artists pretend they can sing, and then they really can't. And don't get me started on this like fucking dance bullshit. All in this together. This is what I see at every fucking concert. It looks so fucking dumb. If I cannot be blind and go to your concert and have a good time, you're not making a good concert. It's music, guys. It's not a visual art show. You can have visual stuff going on, like explosions and whatnot, but you shouldn't be dancing like a coordinated dance with like 20 backup dancers. That is stupid. It is dumb. Leave that to Broadway. They actually can dance. And they don't look fucking stupid while doing it. Another issue with pop. There's 2 types of people who succeed at pop, plus Adele and Hozier. They succeed because they're actually good. You're either a really skinny emo boy, or skinny twink kind of guy, or you're a really hot woman. Or your daddy's money, like Taylor Swift. Still, there's like only so many types of people who succeed in pop, whereas you take a look at rap's only one type of person too, but I can't say that. You take a look at like even country. Country has a vast amount of people. It's got fat guys, it's got skinny guys, it's got skinny women, it's got not many fat women in country. But still, it's more types of people than pop, and we're gonna get to country later because I got some real big problems with country right now. But pop is really just the same types of people, and I guess that's what's popular, sure. But shame on you fucking people for enjoying this stuff. It's awful. How do you listen to it? It's a lot of it's overproduced as well. So it tickles that spot in the brain, but it really doesn't do that for me. It's people singing the same melodies. Most of them are in like the same keys. I don't ever hear a song in a minor key anymore, unfortunately, which I really thought I would eventually, but it's just the same stuff. It's in a major key. It's all either really happy or like, oh, this person left me because I did something really stupid. It's my fault. Oh god, I burped. Why do people like this genre? It's not good. The lyrics are all the same. None of the writing's good. That's the one thing about rap. They might be talking about the same stuff, but at least it's doing it in new and innovative ways. I hear different fucking words every time. It's so stupid. Why do people like this genre? Pop is the worst genre right now. It really needs to go back to people with actual talent running the show, because right now the current lineup of Sabrina Carpenter, who is really a bad person in my opinion, and also really not good. Taylor Swift, really bad. Tate McRae or whatever, really bad. She's not really good. You got some of the older people, like, I don't know, Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga's still around. They're good. They can sing, but everyone else right now can't. It's kind of sad. Adele and Hozier are still around. They're pretty good. Both of them can sing really well. Why can't we have more of like people like them? Not them, because they work at their own pace, but people like them who don't just produce garbage after garbage. This is gonna be majority of the video, I swear to God. Anyways, moving on to the next genre. All right, coming in at my second worst genre, country. Country is right now just pop, but for women who want to wear cowboy boots. Country songs are just about like 3 things now: getting drunk, driving a truck, getting drunk, and kissing someone. What the fuck happened to like Johnny Cash? Whatever happened to Dolly Parton? I don't know if she'd really be considered country, but she's in that sort of group. Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. Whatever happened to the highwaymen in general? Like, what happened to that kind of country? What happened to writing interesting stories and being like, not the forefront of musical ideas, but at least the forefront of the American mind in terms of the genre used to have character. It's lost all of that. It's just the same as pop. I kid you not, somehow these people don't even know how to play an instrument. Like, country used to be a guy with a guitar. Maybe he'd have a backing band. But he'd know how to play that guitar and he'd probably play like a lead riff. Now it's not that. A lot of country, or at least a lot of the popular country, is just the same beat makers as rap. Maybe not the exact same people, but they have the same philosophy. No actual interesting sounds coming out of there. Nothing interesting musically. This is my major. I can find no redeeming qualities within any of these three genres. Rap has the most because at least it's something, sometimes something's interesting, and also you can make it from being nothing in rap. In country, it's the connection game. Everything's in Nashville, by the way, it's a cesspool of a city. Everything is all about, oh, who you know, or how much of a southern accent you can put on, even if you're from some rich ass place in Massachusetts. It's so dumb. It's really dumb. It used to be a genre I loved. Used to be really interesting. And now it's just awful. Alright, moving on to my next genre I'm going to talk about. We're going to have a bit of a switch up. Alright, the next genre I'm going to talk about. This is a genre that kind of no longer exists, and that's rock and roll. What do we think of rock and roll? We have basically two bands right now that actually truly personify, that are big, let's say. That personify traditional classic rock kind of values in the way that they play music. That's Greta Van Fleet. Everyone knows, and some people love Greta Van Fleet. And AMH Band. And AMH Band is famous mostly because they're good, but also somewhat because they did that song with the Rizzler, which is pretty hilarious. And actually, it's not that bad. At least the parts when it's not the Costco guys doing it. Anyways, those two are actually good. But right now, our rock scene is Imagine Dragons, who are not a rock band. They're too much of boom, boom, like coming from the DAW. They're too much from the digital audio workspace to actually be a rock band. You might say, oh, what about metal? Metal's coming up as its own thing in a minute, because metal is actually a thriving genre and is fantastic right now, except there's some issues I gotta talk about. But rock is dead. All the old heads are still doing their stuff. The Rolling Stones are still touring at their ripe and old age. You know, you got bands like Alice in Chains, even after Lane Staley died, they're still doing their thing. Pearl Jam tours from now and then. But still, a lot of the stuff on like the traditional rock side is kind of gone. It's all transitioned into like either a heavier pop or into a heavy metal, or like a classic soft style rock, which was like Fleetwood Mac, who are awful. I don't like Fleetwood Mac. I'm the one person on this goddamn planet who doesn't like Fleetwood Mac. And the Eagles, who are actually pretty good. But a lot of the old style, oh, let's play an interesting solo, let's play some cool notes, it's gone. It's like just two bands now. I see AMH Band, who are funny and are really present on TikTok. They're more social media based, but also bands like Greta Van Fleet, who are truly fantastic. They're doing their thing. And there's some indie, like, or not really indie, but like, yeah, indie rock bands. You know, your Arctic Monkeys. I don't really consider them rock in the more classic, traditional hard rock sense. I'm gonna get to them later is when I get to indie. But yeah, I just think rock overall as a genre has no identity. That's its major problem. Moving on to the next genre, we have my favorite genre, my golden child, metal. Metal is the best genre. I will hear no arguments about this. From a musical standpoint, rather. It's only really competed with by jazz and maybe funk, if you like bass lines. I don't know if I'll have time. I might cover funk and ska on the same segment if I have time for that. But metal right now has one problem, and it's gatekept by fans. You people who are metalheads, you are the problem. It is not anyone who's just getting into the stuff and it's like, oh, I like Ice Nine Kills. If you shame someone for that, that's kind of... why? If you shame someone for enjoying like new metal, why? Let them get into the harder stuff. Don't gatekeep metal from other people who could be potential listeners to the genre. Why would we want to encourage people to go back to their bad music when they just started discovering good stuff? Like, I don't get it. Oh, I shame you for not liking my band. Rah! It needs to go back, or not go back to, but be less, I guess, elitist about what you're allowed to like and what you're not allowed to like. You're not even allowed to like Metallica anymore, which is ridiculous. You're not allowed to like the Black Album, which is a fantastic album. You're not allowed to like anything from Load, Reload, but nobody likes Saint Anger. Like anything new either. It's so ridiculous. Why are we as metalheads trying to gatekeep our small genre from more people? Like, it's not like we're overcrowding with metalheads. The only reason that metal shows are ever crowded is because the venues are so damn small you can pack 700 people in pretty tightly. It's very sad to see the genre that I love really tear itself apart when we could be dominating the industry right now. Now, obviously, there's a lot of mainstream bias against metal because a lot of metal bands are self-made in that they don't sign necessarily with major records, at least at the beginning. They only sign like 20 years after they've already made it big. Metalheads need to stop getting out of our own way. We just need to stop like saying, oh, you don't like Opeth immediately, rah. No, we need to like welcome them in. It's like drugs. Why would you try to get your friend immediately addicted to crack when they could just start off with like alcohol? It makes so much more sense that way. It's a stupid analogy, but it works. Anyways, that's enough about metal. Let's move on to another genre I like. The next genre we will be talking about. It may seem like a big jump, but it's jazz. Jazz's major problem right now is kind of similar to metal, but not really. For one, it's also complex like metal. But I think jazz as a genre is kind of perfected. I'm not too much of like, let's say, a jazz head. It's not shoved in my face, but I like whatever I hear. Old school jazz is fantastic. The new stuff makes my brain hurt, but it's fantastic. But I think the genre or the problem that I think I would go to for jazz is that at some point, keep your theory out of my music. Or like, I want some music with the theory that I'm getting. It's a little sometimes too theoretical, and I hear some stuff that's really odd to the ear. Now I enjoy that stuff, and maybe jazz wants, a lot of jazz heads and jazz enjoyers want to keep the stuff interesting. But I feel like a lot of the times it goes too far into the theoretical side and the abstract side, where it's like, what's the musical idea we're doing here at this point? You're not showing me insane virtuosity, you're just showing that you know every different mode and scale, which could be interesting if you did it well. It's just sometimes it doesn't do so well. But I think jazz is something where I don't have to hark on too long, because everyone kind of knows what they're getting with jazz. People have a really like demonized view of metal, where they think everything is super screamy. No, Metallica's metal, Judas Priest is metal, Sabaton is metal, and Sabaton's not screamy at all. It's a bunch of guys singing about wars and shit. That's my favorite subgenre, by the way, is power metal. But anyways, jazz doesn't have that problem because everyone kind of knows what to expect. They kind of expect, maybe don't expect as much guitar as has become in jazz, but they expect like a certain sound, which in my opinion they get delivered on. If they want it, then they get it. If they don't want it, then they don't listen to it. I think jazz, at least its main problem is that sometimes even the people who know what they're expecting get a little surprised, but not in a good way, in like a what the fuck are you playing kind of way. It's yeah, all these jazz school people who went to Berkeley playing their guitar riffs and guitar solos, where it's like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Anyways, moving on. All right, the next genre that I'm going to talk about is indie. Indie has one huge problem. It literally is not a genre. Everyone knows what you're talking about when you say indie, but it's not a genre. It's just... It used to be a way to label something as being not from a major record. Now it's just sort of used for anything that sounds like Midwest emo, kind of. But it's I don't know. I'm not a fan necessarily of all indie bands, because I think a lot of the times their singers can't sing, or they can only sing very limited, or it's just about a vibe rather than anything particularly interesting about a song. Which, you know, vibe music is whatever, but I think it kind of falls into a trap of actually not being very good, because you could make vibe music better if you stop making it about a vibe and wrote a damn solo. Just write a damn solo, please, for any instrument. I will even take a piano solo. I fucking hate the piano. I hate that instrument, but I will take a piano solo. Please. Or a bass solo. Everyone loves bass solos, but you guys can't do bass solos in indie. And if there's a solo that I hear, it's like... It's just the riff, but reversed. Or up the scale. And it's like multiple notes, or it's multiple rhythm lengths over one note. I'm just like, oh. It's almost like leveling into punk territory of bad solos, and punk is fourth on the worst genres right now. Even though it's similar to rock, it's bad. You punk heads out there, fuck you. Fuck you guys. You ruined goddamn rock. Anyways, we're done with indie, because I think the main problem is just pretty simple. It's not a genre. And a lot of the stuff in the genre is just kind of boring. It's samey. It's similar to pop, but it's better, because at least they're having fun. And at least indie has, again, the potential for a random person with no connections at all to randomly go viral. I think rap has that same kind of thing. Metal has that kind of thing. Indie has that kind of thing. Punk has that kind of thing, but it shouldn't, because punk is a bad genre. It's a bad child. And yeah, here we go. We're going on to the next pick, which is punk. Fuck this genre. It's so stupid. I like one band in it, and I'm not supposed to. If I like this band, I'm not supposed to like it. I'm the only person who can stand Green Day and then hates the rest of the punk genre. And that's because they have a mild amount of competency on any of their instruments. The main problem with punk is that they're so anti-society. Hardcore punk, by the way, is fantastic. Hardcore punk, but I consider that more metal than punk. Just because it's too complex to be punk. Punk is a simple genre, and it's literally rock for retards. It's not a good genre. It's too easy. I could play every single punk riff if I learned one power chord, or how to play a power chord, and where the frets are. It's so stupid. I hate punk so much, and everyone says, "Oh, it's about the movement, man." Grunge was about the movement and delivered us some great solos. Metal, about the movement, delivered some great solos. Rap, about the movement, and delivered some great songs. Punk was about the movement, and all it delivered us was a bunch of idiots pretending that they were actually significantly smarter than they were on their instruments. They're writing songs the same way. There's nothing interesting about them. They don't have any interesting riffs. It's all just power chord, 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 more power chords, more power chords, more power chords. It's so samey, and the beats are always the same, and like the drum beat, the bass line, shit still, because it's always roots, and I don't know, man. This genre makes me frustrated that people even like it. And don't get me started on the Ramones one-note solo. Just because it's a message does not mean that solo is good. I get the message. You're still bad if you wrote the damn song. It's, yeah. Jesus Christ, this genre sucks so much. Like, at least in pop, they have interesting bass lines. But the thing is, this can only be the fourth worst because the other three just drag themselves down so much by being, like, literally nothing interesting. They all sound the same. You could actually put a country beat or rap artist over a country beat and they'd give you the same product. You could put a pop artist over a rap beat, same product. You can't do that with punk, at least. At least with punk, it's something interesting with the backing, like, sound, with the distortion and whatnot. But punk is a poor man's metal. There's nothing interesting going on with the... I have a friend who's punk obsessed, and I'm like, why? There's nothing interesting going on. I can play all the same songs really easily. I'm bad at guitar. I own an 8-string. That doesn't make me good. It just makes me a guy who owns an 8-string. And punk is just awful. I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes, I swear to God, and talk about punk. I need to cut myself off because I hate this genre so much. Alright, moving on. I think our final genre that I have time to cover, sorry if I missed one that you actually find to be major and distinctive, but if it's a subgenre, like, I'm not going to cover every single type of metal, because a new type of metal is literally created every 2 seconds. I'm not going to cover every different type of jazz, even though I do quite like the different types of jazz. I'm not going to cover different types of punk. Even though I mentioned hardcore, I consider that to be the metal group. So if you're a hardcore punk enjoyer, I like you. You're cool. If you're a softcore punk, sounds like softcore board. If you're a soft punk enjoyer, I guess regular punk enjoyer, fuck you. Go take your genre somewhere else. Not in my music world. All right. Anyways, this last is a joint sort of ranking and the problems with every single major genre or whatever I call this video. The last genre joint ranking is ska and funk. They are different, but they do produce similar sounds, which is interesting. Ska does stand out because of its different origins. Both of them do have some similarities. A lot of them do have really nice, yet not heavy drum lines, which I like. Both of them have very devoted fan bases, which is fantastic. I think ska has more of a devoted fan base than funk does, just because it's a little easier to listen to ska. And grouping these two, I'm going to go over both their different their issues and similarities. Even though they're different genres, I'm just going to go over them at the same time. Funk's major issue that I see is just that not enough people classify themselves as funk. It's too small of a genre. It's kind of similar to rock, except funk is more of a genre right now in terms of local scenes that I've seen, whereas rock is just dead. It's everyone playing hits that were around 50 years ago, or two bands at the top who are kind of just doing everything. Anyways, moving on to, yeah, funk just doesn't have enough bands, really. A lot of early Bruno Mars stuff was kind of funky, which is great. Outside of him, I couldn't really name any real funk bands. Let's just move to ska. Ska's major issue is the weed. It's too involved in weed to get a real mainstream appeal. I mean, metal has a similar issue, except metalheads won't smoke around kids, which I know ska heads do, which is really cut that stuff out. Come on, guys. The weed is mainly what I see is the problem with ska. It's a perfectly valid genre, you know. There's some great bands I really enjoyed. I'm gonna sound like a fucking casual. 311, Sublime, you know, well, I'd consider them both ska. I think the issue is that the culture around ska is all about weed, and new studies kind of emerged that say weed kills your brain cells. Doesn't kill your nutsack, thankfully, but does kill your brain cells. I think the culture around it's too heavy on the drugs for a lot of normal people. And I say normal people, don't say just because you don't do drugs you're not normal. You're not. Most people, the most hardcore shit they do is drink regularly. But most people who are not druggies, kind of hard for them to get into ska because there's so many drugs around the scene. All right, that's most of the major genres that I wanted to cover. Here are my rankings for which genres I like the most and which I hate, and which I think have the biggest problems. So I'm gonna have a problems ranking, probably on screen somewhere, and then a list of which bands I actually, or which genres I actually like the most. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. I post relatively frequently, and this will be a joint account with my music Instagram and with my YouTube. Make sure you comment what your thoughts are on my list and kind of like what you think each major genre's major problem is. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.